called me aside and said, "Hey, Miss Danette, can we go to my school and pray?"
Mommy,
Y'all knew I was not going to say no to that. So we had to plan it, and we thought today'd be good because they're all starting school tomorrow. And they're going to be some of them in this building, some of them in the other buildings. We thought it was a good idea to do it today. And Ben planned it, and he said he wanted to make sure that he did the sheets with me. In our other prayers, we had sheets. And so he wanted to make sure he did the sheets with me. Well, I didn't think sheets was that good of an idea. Thank you, sir. Because it really isn't too kid-friendly. So I took Ben home with me today, and I asked Ben what was important in schools. And we spent a lot of time talking about who was important in the school and what was important to each one of those sets of people. So you see some different words around here. And on bus drivers, you notice they need earplugs. And I think Mr. Jim and Ben kind of came up with that one.
No.
He said quiet too.
Yeah, the janitors needed some mad cleaning skills. So this wasn't exactly like the other community prayers was, because
That gets to the heart of it,
this is kid friendly, and this is what kids see, and this is from the eyes of a child who knows that they need. Whoa.
This is alarm to check his sugar. All good.
Are you good?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. These are right from the heart of a child who feels like their school needs prayer. So if you guys are all looking at this and thinking about what we can do to pray our schools through this year, our teachers, our parents who are teachers, everybody's kind of pitching in this year to get these parents through this and these teachers through this. And I know each school district is doing it a little bit differently. What are we doing here? Are we in school 5 days a week?
The younger kids are, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, guys will be. This school will be.
Okay.
Like Monday,
They're going Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday, Friday.
Okay.
cleaning on Wednesday.
Okay. So there's a lot. The administrators have got a lot going into this, and then once they get into the school buildings, you've got your nurses and your guidance counselors and your office workers, and everybody's playing an important role, right, Ben? And the office workers have to have a smile on their face, right? And they have to have envelopes to put things in. So it's kind of important. Each person has their own job. Even the students have their own jobs. And the students have to have patience, because that was one of the first things Benjamin said. And then we talked about the the respect. Students have to have respect for their teachers and for the aides and the janitors, because, oh my goodness, are those janitors doing a big job this year, right?
Yeah.
They're going to keep everything safe. And that's how we're going to be able to stay in school, is because those janitors are going to do their job, right? Aw, Nico. I'm so sorry. Goodness. All right, Ben, talk to us about our parents. What do our parents need to do at home? What did we talk about? They need to have patience, right?
He's getting away from his mother before he says that.
But our parents are important, because after we get home and we're stressed out, they need to be understanding and they need to love us, right, Ben? Yeah. And when we're in school and we're feeling a little bit anxious, our guidance counselors help us, right? Yeah. And we talked about how they have to be kind and supportive, but they have to listen. Our guidance counselors have to listen, because that's how they know what's going on with the kids, right? Kai, have you been to the guidance counselor? Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Don't plan on it.
glad
Just try and stay away from that.
You know
Hey,
what?
don't give them the
No.
idea that going to the guidance
No.
counselor is a bad thing. It's not.
It's not.
It's not. You know what? When I was in probably 4th grade, one of my favorite people in the whole school was the guidance counselor, because she would just sit down and listen. Didn't matter really what I wanted to talk about. she was going to listen. So they are super important. And when you don't have your parents there during the day and you need to talk, they are the perfect person to go to. And sometimes the teacher doesn't have enough ears to hear everything. And so if you're getting to the point where you need to talk to somebody and the teacher says, just, I can't right now, maybe even ask if you can go down and talk to the guidance counselor. And the school police are super important. Whoa, Benjamin, what happened to your foot, man? I thought that was your corner.
Got it.
Little compared.
Thank you. School police are super important, right, Ben? Because they're keeping us safe. And they're watching all the doors and the windows all the time. Because there are bad people out there, but our school police don't let them into our schools. Right? Some schools have metal detectors, and you have to go through them. And this year, I'm thinking you might have to go through temperature detectors. They might have to take your temperature when you go into the schools. So you're probably going to see your school police at the doors there, too. So they kind of got a whole lot more put on them this year. And your teachers, oh my goodness. Your teachers, we really need to pray for our teachers. Because not only do they have to do their teaching job, but they have to do it online sometimes. They have to do it with kids that are at home. And if you're sitting at home, oh, how hard is that to focus on the computer when you really don't want to be?
Well, I'm staying home.
Yeah? Yeah, so we need to pray for our students that are at home. Because that's hard. You're used to sitting in the classroom, and you're used to watching your teacher, and now you're going to see your teacher on the screen, or maybe just hear them, or maybe not have any interaction with the teacher at all, and sometimes. You're just looking at a piece of paper, or you're reading on a screen. So students, it's super, super important we're praying for our students. And those lunch ladies, oh my. Well, Ben and I decided if they're having sloppy joes, we're packing.
Sloppy Joe.
You don't like sloppy
Yep,
joes.
we both agreed that was going to be
That's what we make for community dinner
we're
all the
packing
time.
that day. But I don't even know if we're going to be able to have the lunch ladies make lunches. Sometimes they are in some schools, and some schools they're not. Sometimes we have to pack. And in some schools, they're only going to let some kids into the lunchroom, and some kids they're going to put into the big gymnasium. So every day is going to be something new, I think. So we have to pray for everybody inside these buildings who is just thinking, oh no, what is going to happen today? We just have to think, God is in control. Right, Ben? Always.
Here we go.
It's going to come off on your side, I think, Nico.
We forgot the most important word.
Uncles. Oh, no.
Focus.
Focus. Well,
Now I think it's coming on
Okay.
camera too. Yes.
Focus.
teachers need to focus. Students need to focus. School police need to focus. Janitors, nurses need to focus. The guidance counselors have to focus. The parents have to focus. Bus drivers, we hope they're focusing because they're driving. The lunch ladies need to focus. The office workers need to focus, and the principals need to focus. So you're right. We are missing a really important word. Where were you when we needed you?
Big rocks on there, Ben.
I know it.
So how about you kiddos that are standing around here? What else is popping into your mind that we need to pray about that maybe you don't see on here, or that you do see but we haven't said out loud? So much to think about, right? So much.
That the students don't get frustrated with all of the new things going on.
Thank you.
True, definitely.
Yeah. No matter whether you're at home looking at a computer or you're in the classroom looking at your teacher's smiling face, you're going to have changes this year. It's going to be different. Chelsea's right. Don't get frustrated. Again, go home and talk to mom and dad about it. Talk to the guidance counselor. If something's worrying you in your classroom, talk to your teachers. Don't keep it inside. That's the worst thing to do.
Or, if it's bugging you, right where you are, just pray.
What do I always tell you guys, Chelsea? Talk to God about it. It doesn't, and really, it doesn't matter where you're standing. If she's sitting in her car and she's thinking, that's always the first words out of my mouth. Talk to God about it. Because whether you're in the belly of a fish, or you're sitting at your desk, or you're in bed at night, God's always right there, right?
Jonah was our thing today, that's why she said about the belly of the fish.
Yeah, we talked about Jonah spending some time in timeout.
You know, Jesus says something about the least of these. And the disciples say, when did we see you poor? When did we see you hungry? And Jesus says, if they were there, I was there. When I think about that fish story and how God sends the fish, that means God had to be in the spirit of the mind of the fish. That was a powerful moment when I understood the fact that God sent the fish because he knew the fish had those parts in his stomach that were livable. How about that? Incredible.
Yep.
Not forever,
No, we can't live there forever. But
even though we'd like to.
well, yeah. But it was a good time out for a little bit to get him back in perspective.
It was a great picture today of time out.
So, I don't know. Who would like to pray out loud for us? I know Pastor's always willing to do that.
What's your papers for?
Those were the papers that we took to Butler. when we
Oh,
went there.
okay.
And I had, we prayed for each group. But that was more adult.
Right, right.
And I thought today needed to be more.
This is fantastic, and I love all the patience that's on there. That's my big thing I need, patience.
Well, you know, you talked earlier about it being different, but I think we need to remember too that change isn't always bad. Sometimes change can be good. So not looking at change as a negative thing, looking at it as a positive thing. Just because it's different doesn't mean it's going to be bad.
And it might teach us some new things. We might learn new ways to do things in all of this.
And I think with all of this, with all the changes and everything that will be so different from what we're all accustomed to, as long as we trust in God, all we have to do is take one day at a time.
And even if you're having a bad day, tomorrow's a new day. You get up the next morning and pray again. Go at it again.
From where we are, there's no more powerful weapon that we have than prayer. In prayer, we seek God's will. Certainly, we're saying what we would like to happen, but God knows the best that's supposed to happen. When those two things catch up with one another, it is a powerful, powerful weapon. No weapon can be formed against us, Paul says in 1 Corinthians. No weapon can be formed against us when we have the power of God on our hands. He says we fight with different weapons. We fight with our hands folded and our heads down and our trust in Jesus Christ. That's how we fight. So
He can't, his feet are big about that.
I can't stretch all the way over there. I'll do a split and it won't be pretty.
no.
I just want to make a comment about, Ben, the fact that you even wanted to do this prayer thing here at your school, it says a lot about you as a person. I think you're very caring, you're compassionate, and the fact that you did all this, you are a leader. So you set a good example for other students. Even for adults, you set a very good example. So we're all very proud of you.
I just called her out.
Please. All right. Here, bud. Stand over here. We're gonna pray. Jump in now.
Mako.
Got you in the middle of your Fitbit switch.
Come on, let's go.
We're gonna start over again. Now when he pops back there, we're gonna get back in.
Come here and pray.
You gotta get Kai in.
Yep. There you go. We'll work around it.
Slide your push back and stretch yourself forward. There you go.
Whenever.
Go ahead.
Dear Lord God, we thank you that you are mindful of us, that you would allow your Spirit to interact, Lord God, with ours. Such is the case this morning with the Apostle Peter, and reminding him and letting him know who Jesus was, in the same way that you reminded Benjamin who you are, and that we needed to pray at his school for his friends and his teachers and his school staff and everybody that's in it. Thank you for Miss Danette being willing to do these things with the kids of our church. She knows how important they are, and God put that on her heart. Thank you for putting on the heart of everyone here that they need to be here this afternoon. So, as bright as the sun is shining on us, which is rather amazing that the clouds are parting just where the sun needs to shine, we thank you that as the sun is always shining, regardless of what we see, you are always, always loving us, regardless of where we are and what we're doing. You might not like what we're doing sometimes, but you're always loving us. When we carry out your desire, Lord God, to reach out to you, to confess that you are God and we're not, it's a great relief. It takes the pressure off of us. So we lift these children to you, Lord God. We lift the note to you. We lift all the hearts that are gathered here. We lift the hearts that are praying for us as they couldn't make it here, because they all resonate your heart's desire, that we love one another, and as we love one another, we love you.
Dear God, thank you so much for this little boy who asked me to gather us today. He has become such a special part of my life, and I am so excited to help him share his love for God with all of his friends.